Welcome to this first lecture on osteology by Professor Govind Narayan Purohit from GNP Sir classes. Here are the contents. We will discuss the classification of the skeletal system, bones, bone coverings, bone marrow, bone development, growth of bone, terminology in osteology and blood and nerve supply of bones. So first let's discuss the definitions and terms. We start with the definition and importance. Osteology is the scientific study of bones. The bones are the hardest structures in the body, surpassed only by teeth. Bones provide essential support and protection to the body's tissues, forming the skeletal framework. Bones serve as levers for muscle attachment, contributing to the locomotor system. Bones also act as a reservoir for calcium and house bone marrow, a significant source of blood cell production. Now let us classify the skeletal system. The skeletal system has been classified as exoskeleton and endoskeleton. The exoskeleton is found on the body's surface, typical of invertebrates. In higher vertebrates, it includes structures like nails, horns, hooves, and the shells of crabs and tortoises. 2. Endoskeleton. This is embedded within soft tissues. This type forms the body's internal framework. It is further divided into O-axial skeleton, includes the skull, vertebral column, ribs, and sternum. O-appendicular skeleton comprises bones of the pectoral, forelimb, and pelvic, hind limbs. In addition to these major components, some bones, known as heterotopic bones, occur within specific tissues rather than as part of the regular skeleton. These include os cordus, found in the heart of camel. Os spinous, present in dogs, bats, rodents, and some primates. Os rostri, located in the snout of pigs. Os phrenic, found in the diaphragm of camels. These bones are also referred to as splanchnic or visceral bones. Now let us talk about the bone structure. Bone is a hard tissue that appears yellowish-white in a freshly deceased animal, while in a living animal, it has a bluish-pink hue. Bones are rigid yet flexible, allowing them to provide structural support and facilitate movement. They also play a crucial role in the production of red and white blood cells and the storage of minerals. First, let's talk about the microscopic structure. The bone tissue comprises osteocytes, bone cells, and collagen fibers embedded in a mineralized matrix. This matrix is hardened by calcium crystals, forming thin plates or lamellae that make bones impermeable and durable. Based on macroscopic structure, bones can be categorized based on the arrangement of their lamellae into two types. 1. Compact bone, dense, hard bone forming the outer shell. It is organized into the Haversian system, or osteon, and is found in areas subjected to significant stress. 2. Cancellated, spongy, bone, composed of delicate plates that form a meshwork, filled with marrow. Found in the epiphyses of long bones, it lacks Haversian systems. Bones are classified based on their shape and function into the following categories: long bones, flat bones, short bones, sesamoid bones, irregular bones, and pneumatic bones. Let's discuss each type. 1. The long bones are characterized by a cylindrical shaft, diaphysis, and expanded ends, epiphyses. They act as levers and provide support. Examples include the humerus and femur. 2. Flat bones, broad and thin, these bones provide large surface areas for muscle attachment and protection. Examples include the scapular and skull bones. 3. Short bones, equal in length, breadth, and thickness. These bones help absorb shock. Examples are the carpals and tarsals. 4. Sesamoid bones, found within tendons or joint capsules, these bones alter tendon direction and provide leverage. An example is the patella. 5. Irregular bones, these bones have complex shapes, such as vertebrae. 6. Pneumatic bones, containing air-filled spaces, these bones reduce weight and enhance voice resonance. Examples include the frontal and maxillar bones in mammals and various bones in birds. Now let's talk what are the bone coverings. Bones are covered by two primary membranes. 1. Periosteum, a dense, fibrous membrane covering the bone's outer surface except at articular areas. It consists of an outer fibrous layer and an inner cellular layer. The periosteum aids in bone growth, repair, and serves as an attachment site for muscles and tendons. 2. Endosteum, a thin membrane lining the medullary cavity and Haversian canals. It plays a vital role in bone remodeling and nutrient transfer. The bone marrow. Bone marrow exists in two types. 1. Red bone marrow. Present in spongy bone and medullary cavities at birth, it produces blood cells. 2. Yellow bone marrow. Composed mainly of adipose tissue, it occupies the medullary cavity in long bones of adults. Bone development, ossification. Bone development occurs through two processes. 1. Intramembranous ossification involves the direct conversion of mesenchymal tissue into bone, forming flat bones of the skull. 2. Endochondral ossification involves the replacement of cartilage models with bone, forming long bones, vertebrae, and ribs. Growth of bones. The bones grow in length through the activity of epiphyseal cartilage, which remains between the diaphysis and epiphysis during growth. Growth in width occurs through the deposition of new bone beneath the periosteum. Factors influencing bone growth include calcium, phosphorus, vitamins D and C, and hormones such as parathyroid hormone and growth hormone. Finally, we discuss various terms in osteology. Process. A general term for a prominence. Tubercle. A small, rounded projection. Tuberosity. A larger, roughened projection for muscle attachment. Trochanter. A large, blunt, non-articular prominence. Spine. A pointed projection. Crest. A prominent ridge or elongated projection. Head. A rounded articular enlargement at the end of a bone. Condyle. A cylindrical articular prominence. Epicondyal. A projection adjacent to a condyle. Protuberance. A bulging or projecting part of a bone. Eminence. A raised area on a bone. Facet. A small, flat articular surface. Foramen. An opening through a bone for the passage of nerves, vessels. Fossa. A shallow depression or hollow in a bone. Sinus. An air-filled cavity within a bone lined by mucous membrane. Cleft. A narrow opening or fissure in a bone. Lamina. A thin, flat plate of bone. Canal. A long, tunnel-like foramen, usually for nerves or vessels. Meatus. A passage or channel within a bone. Suture. A joint between cranial bones. Symphysis. A type of joint where two bones are firmly connected by cartilage. Long bone feature. Definition. Diaphysis. The shaft or central part of a long bone. Epiphysis. The ends of a long bone where secondary ossification occurs. Epiphyseal plate. Also known as the growth plate, a disc of hyaline cartilage. Metaphysis. The region between the diaphysis and epiphysis. Neck. The constricted area between the head and the shaft of a bone. Head. The rounded, proximal end of a bone that forms part of a joint. Bones are highly vascularized. Arteries supply blood externally via the periosteum and internally through the nutrient foramen. Veins accompany arteries, and nerves provide sensory input. Lymph vessels form a network beneath the periosteum, aiding in nutrient transport and immune functions.